It's so strange seeing people. I've got lots of friends in WA, even in South Australia, and they're all just like living life, and it's all just normal and wonderful, and it's great. It's good to see. I'm happy for you guys, that's for sure.
Yeah, we really feel for you guys over there. Like I just can't even imagine it. We're like in this bubble, and it feels so surreal.
Yeah, it's interesting because like somebody said to me from America that they're like, I can't believe you're still in lockdown. It's weird, like this is just my life now. Like this is just how you exist. It's like kind of like you just adapt to it, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
Feels very strange, but it's just normal now. Like I think I've just come to accept it, and I've done all the grieving, I've done all the upset things, and I'm just like, oh well, this is just what it is until it has to be, and it's fine. It's just you can exist like that. What up, Ash? Nice to see you here. I was just saying, Ash, to Bobbi that she's over in WA, so she's just existing, living life, and shooting and doing all these wonderful things that we can't do here in Melbourne. But it feels like the thing I'm concerned about, Bobbi, I don't know if you have an opinion on this, is like, what happens when we open the border? Like, I'm really concerned about what happens to WA at that point, because there's been no waves and no, I guess, time for healthcare like to be prepared, workers to be prepared for, because regardless, cases are going to go up, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah, like
I don't know. Are they talking about? Yeah, are they talking about that over there? About
I feel like our premier is very he's just like, borders are shut and that's it.
Yeah.
Like you can't shut them forever.
But they can't be shut forever. Yeah.
So what's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know, because we're in such a different little bubble to what you guys are experiencing. It's honestly, I can't even think about what the future holds.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of good if you don't think about it too much. It's probably not going to be that much. Like, just it doesn't even enter your psyche, so it's fine.
Yeah.
My dog wants to go outside. I'm just going to let him out while we're getting people to join. He's just like sooking. But yeah, that's the thing that I'm just worried about. I'm like, so you can't be shut forever. Like at some point, it has to open. It's like, I'm sure they're thinking about it. It's just I'm not really sure what they're planning to do. It's very strange.
Yeah, the whole thing is strange. But even like overseas borders, like what's going to happen when that opens again? Because everyone in Australia loves to travel and go overseas. And all that, and now it's just been like non-existent. It's a little bit scary to think about what's going to happen.
It is. I'm just going to switch off my Wi-Fi into the Ethernet. I'm hoping it doesn't cut out the stream. I'll just do that, and once I know that that's stable, we will get stuck into this interview. Okay, so far so good. I was wondering why it was like really jittery. Everyone's going to flee once international is open, I reckon. I'm definitely looking to go overseas like ASAP. What up, 80? Nice to see you as well. Have you got any trips planned? I mean, I don't know whether you're as keen to get away as we are because we've been stuck for so long, but have you got any trips coming up?
Well, it's funny because I've actually never been overseas before. And I was I was in the process of getting my first passport when COVID hit.
Oh my god, yes.
Because I had to like get special permissions and stuff to get my children's passports and everything, and I got it all approved, and then COVID happened.
Oh my god! And that would have been a drama too, because you've got 4? You've got 4 kids, 3 or 4?
Yeah, 4 kids, 4 boys.
Trying to get like passports, or like there's a logistical nightmare just in that.
Yeah.
I think just getting all that stuff done.
And it was and like this year alone, I've been invited to like so many places. Like I could have been in Paris, I could have been in LA.
Oh my god!
And like even just recently, had a photography exhibition in Beijing. Like there's just all these places that I could have been, but yeah.
I guess the good thing is that hopefully those offers will still be coming. Like your profile's just still rising, and those hopefully when everything starts to open up again. That's how I look at it. It's just like it's like a little bit of a pause rather than it's never going to happen again, if that makes sense.
Yeah
Hopefully.
That's like, because my kids really they have this dream that they want to go to, I think it's Hawaii. And so like, we were saving up, we were going to go to Hawaii, we were going to get like passports, we were going to do this. And then like, COVID happened, and I was like, oh, maybe we could just like go to the Gold Coast or something, but can't even do that now.
Can't even. Oh my God, there's a lot of beautiful spots in WA. It's hard, I guess, when you live in the state, because you're kind of like, it's just the state that I live in, but...
Number 80 here, it is.
Yeah, it gives you the opportunity to kind of travel a little bit more kind of in your state, which, WA is massive as well, so there is lots of opportunity. But yeah, I guess as soon as you can get away, it'd be good to do a little overseas trip with the family, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, let's get this chat started. I'm so excited to talk to you today. We did a Nikon presentation a little while ago where I got to know you and know your work, and it's just been such a pleasure to be following you and just see. I've got so many things that I want to ask you about, and your process and using reels and stuff like that. But we'll start from the start for those who don't know who you are. Maybe let us know about your kind of early journey with photography, when you picked up a camera, and kind of what led you to fall in love with photography as an art form.
Yeah, my whole life I've always been really creative and arty. Like I was always drawing, and my mum really encouraged that. She like taught me how to paint, taught me how to sew. I kind of just always wanted to do something creative. And I think I must have been like 9 or 10, and I started using the little disposable cameras, and I was obsessed with those. Like I was just getting them all the time, and then we didn't actually always have the money to get them to developed, but I always had them. Like I was just filling them up, and I was making my siblings pose for me and taking photos for them, because I'm the oldest of 6, so it was always like, to my little sister, especially Sky, I was like, come on, pose for me, come and do this. And back then, like, I had no idea that like photography was a career. I thought, that I was just being like some fashion director or something like that,
Yeah.
Because like, I loved, like fashioning like a sheet into like a dress and stuff like that, and taking photos of her. And I don't think it was until when my other sister Carly was pregnant with her first baby. I think I was like 17 or 8, or I was 18 or 19, and I wanted to take some photos, and she had a DSLR. I didn't even know what a DSLR was back then, but she had one, and I used it, and I took some photos of her, and I kind of like, I don't know, something just like clicked in me, and I was like, I love doing this, I want to do more. So I started like Googling and researching about photography. I went to, because I was at TAFE at the time doing design, and I went to the library and I took out every single book on photography, including like how to do photography for dummies. And yeah, I got hooked, and I got a little bit obsessed and saved up for my first camera, and yeah, the rest is history.
That's awesome. I'm just going to shut this door before I ask the next question, because it's freezing and my dog's back inside now. What was your first camera? What was the first one that you saved up for?
It was a Nikon D60.
Oh, awesome. So you've been a Nikon girl from the start, like me.
Right, from the start.
Yeah, same.
I remember I joined this, do you remember Flickr?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I joined Flickr, and I was on like the Perth photography page. I think it was called Photographers in Perth. And then there was another one called Natural Light Photography or something. Anyway, I was asking them, I really want to get my first camera. What camera should I get? And everyone's like, we can't tell you what brand or what camera to get. You need to go into the store and have a look at them and, try them. And I went into this store in the city, and I picked up some like Canon model. I don't know what it was, and I didn't like it. And I picked up the Nikon, and it just like it fit. And I was like, I like this one. Yeah, it just fit. And so I'm like, yeah, so I bought...
funny that you have a preference. I feel the same way. It just feels better. And you're like, they're both great cameras, but just like, I don't know, there's something about it. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I stuck with it. And, over the years, as I made more photographer friends and acquaintances and stuff, everyone had Canon or some other brand. Nobody had Nikon. And so I kind of, sometimes I had a little bit of that, like FOMO, like, you know, they've got this fancy lens or whatever for their Canon, but I was never swayed to change brands or anything like that. And yeah, just Nikon. I feel like Nikon is what I love. So
I totally resonate with that. I remember when I started shooting live music and everyone in the pit had Canon, and you could always see the Canon lenses, and but I was never swayed either. I was always really just happy with the results that I was getting, and I guess once you kind of start learning to use it, and that's just what you use, like you just become really familiar with it. So I've always stayed with Nikon as well, and you know, we're both Z creators now, so we know, like, talking about going mirrorless, like, it's, I mean, I don't know about you, but and I don't want this to be like a Nikon ad, because my streams are always like a Nikon ad, but it has like seriously changed my life. I love mirrorless so much, just for the versatility of it and stuff. Do you agree?
Yeah. Going mirrorless, just like, absolutely. I don't think I'll go, like, I've still got my D800 and it was still fairly new, still sitting in the cupboard untouched, because I love my Z.
It was so funny. There was a Nikon group on Facebook, which is all like mostly older photographers, and there was a group of them saying the other night that they'll never go mirrorless, and they think it's like it's a bit of a fad or something. And I was like one of maybe 2 photographers, and we were like, what are you talking about? This is the future. Get on board, guys. You're going to be left in the dark.
I remember people saying that like a few years ago. I think it was when Sony first brought out mirrorless. People were like, "Oh, we're never gonna jump ship. That's just a phase. That's just." I remember all that. But it's always like the older photographers that are more set in their way.
I guess it was like when it was film and they were going over to digital, and everyone, like the film photographers, stuck. You know, they dug their heels in. They'll eventually come over to the dark side. I think it's inevitable. 80 said moving to the mirrorless was the best decision ever. I agree, 80. Definitely the best decision. And I try to encourage as many people as possible, because I feel like it is inevitable. Like DSLR is gonna be phased out for so many reasons, I think. But anyway, we can talk about that another time. We've done that in our Z Creator, talking about Nikon stuff. So I want to talk about you. Let's talk about, I guess, 2 things. One is like the direction of photography that you took, because you do have a real focus on kind of motherhood and family and connection to nature, and I really want to explore that with you as well. Was that, I guess, and it kind of ties into my question about making this a business for yourself. Were you just like gravitating towards shooting this stuff, and then did it slowly kind of become a business, or did it happen really quickly for you? Like how was that process?
Yeah, I think when I first had my D60, and I was taking photos of my sister, her little baby. I think he was, a few months old by the time I got the camera, or maybe a bit older. Yeah, because there's 10 months difference in my baby. And so I was taking photos, but I also just really love taking photos of people. I love portraits. I love like telling their story through a photo. And so like I'm the oldest, so I still had siblings that were still kids. So I still was like, getting them to pose for me, and my youngest brother, there's 16 years between us, and so he was my little model for a few years, and I really love taking photos of children, but I definitely think I was drawn towards like babies and motherhood, and I've always, my whole life, I've been kind of obsessed with pregnancy. Like all the little girls would talk about their dream wedding day, but all I could talk about was like, I can't wait to have a baby. So
I remember you saying this in the class that we did, because we're the exact opposite. I'm the exact opposite of you, and I don't want to have children. I definitely don't want to be pregnant. So I find this fascinating as like someone that's wanted this. Like, it's so fascinating to me and awesome. Like, I love that.
I think, just because I'm the oldest of 6, like my mum was always pregnant and always, breastfeeding.
Always saw it always.
And she has, so many siblings, and they all have so many kids each. So like, I just always had babies around me. Always had, my cousins, and I think there's like something really special about pregnancy, and I just love to capture that. So
of course,
I remember my oldest Sebastian when he was probably like 3 or 4 months old, and I actually no, he was a bit younger, but I won this newborn portrait session with this studio. And I was like really excited because like I had researched newborn photos and I loved, you know, the little squishy babies. Yeah, and so I was so excited. And then when I rang up, because I had won this session, and they're like, oh no, let's wait till he's older with more personality, blah blah blah. So they made me wait till he's like 6 months or 7 months. And you know, even though I like the photos, I really regretted that I didn't get those newborn type photos. So yes. I sort of dove into that. And so by the time I was pregnant with my second baby, I was just like obsessed with newborn photos. And I, you know, was watching workshops, how to, you know, pose babies. And yeah, I think it came from that. And then I just realized that my heart sort of was in pregnancy and newborn. I just love that transition from, you know, when she's carrying this baby inside her, and then the little so that became my focus. And that was sort of when people were saying to me, you know, you should be charging for your work, you know. So I sort of like put up a little Facebook page and put up some baby photos of my sister's boy or my boy, and I think I did a couple of friend sessions for free with their babies around the same age. And then from there, like, I actually started getting bookings, and I couldn't believe it. Like, people were contacting me, and it was kind of like a word of mouth Facebook thing, and people were contacting me. And that was when I was like, I want to specialize in just newborns. Like, love it.
How good was Facebook back in the day, though? Like, I mean, I have a it's just so not like this now, and it's really frustrating. But I have the exact same experience that Facebook really, you know, I went professional within about 6 months, and the same thing, I was shooting friends' weddings and engagements, and all my friends were getting married at the time, so it was an easy transition into kind of getting paid. But like, it was so easy just to set up a Facebook page, and your business just exploded. Like, it's so different now. I know, because
you could tag your clients, and then all their friends would see it, and I don't know, and it just, like, it was crazy. Like, I remember my Facebook page, within 2 years, it went up to like 10,000 followers or whatever. And I was just like, what was supposed to be a part-time, casual kind of business was like a full-time business. It happened so quickly with Facebook, but now, like, it's changed so much. I hate using it. It's really difficult.
It's completely different. It's so frustrating because it used to be so awesome. I don't even go on there anymore. Like, I just don't even use it. It's just so frustrating to me. But I'm looking at some of your work now. I was just going to say the thing that I really love about, I'm not a massive fan of maternity photos, but I absolutely love the way that you capture pregnant women. It's so unique and so beautiful, and there is that real connection to the land. I think it's the colors, and you kind of, it's like you really take it back to the essence of what it's about, and I can really see why you do feel it's so special. I think other maternity photos that I've seen are so far removed from that. I don't know if you know what I mean, but it just feels like, I don't know.
I think I know what you mean, where they're super posed, they're super kind of static, and
there's something really artificial about it. Like, yours is the complete opposite of that. So I think that's why I just really love your work. My dog, what is going on today? He's just in and out. I'm just gonna have to let him out again. Sorry. I'm gonna go outside. I'm just gonna have to leave the door open. It's so cold in Melbourne today. It's ridiculous. But anyway, he's being very demanding. So that's just, I mean, there's so many people in this community that are trying to make that transition from, you know, hobby photographer to doing it professionally, and it's so different now. Like, I do feel like, you know, back a few years ago, Facebook was really beneficial to us, and, you know, you can use Instagram's like even Instagram's dropped off now. Like, it's so weird. It's become a lot harder to get that really organic growth and word of mouth sort of stuff that people would tag you, and, you know, you see your followers go crazy. I find that's just become a little bit harder.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is a shame, but it does lead me into, I guess, my next question, which is you call yourself a creator, which I really love. And you do some really amazing reels. I'm going to have a look at some of the stuff that you do on Instagram. But you are so good at reels. Like, I always look at your reels and I'm always like blown away with how creative you get, and it's just really fun. But yeah, I just want to talk to you a little bit about that. Do you see yourself as like a creator versus a photographer, and where do you get your inspiration to do this stuff? Because it's really fun. I'm going to show you some of them while you're talking, by the way.
Gosh, I find social media, social media or Instagram and TikTok and all that is just really fun. And I like that side of marketing. Because like we were talking about before with Facebook, I started with the whole Facebook, and I also, so I did study marketing, and one of my first jobs was in marketing at an art gallery. So I really love marketing, and I love putting that into social media. But I feel like social media is just really fun, and it's kind of an out from the real world. Like, I've got all
the keys. Like, you don't like when it looks like you are having fun. So maybe that's it. Like, you've kind of taken the pressure off yourself to take it really seriously, and you're just having fun. So it just becomes, it looks really organic for you.
Yeah, like at the start, I was a bit like, oh, this is embarrassing. Oh my gosh. Like, it's still a little bit embarrassing when people in real life say that they've watched my reel. I'm like, no, you haven't. Because like my online world is kind of different to my real world, if that makes sense. And like,
yes, it does.
I have so much going on in my real world with, with my kids and, with my 2 businesses and everything that's just, it's crazy busy. And I also have anxiety and all of that. So I have so much that's going on in my real world. Just to take a break and go to my little social media world and have a little bit of fun and make a reel, I feel like it's cool. Like, I get to have fun, and people seem to enjoy it. So that's cool. And it's also a way of marketing, because it's, it's growing my following, and yeah.
Yeah, and I think because Instagram specifically is like really pushing reels at the moment, so it's such a great way to capitalize on the fact that they want to push that. And you like I said, you do it really well. Like, it's just, I always look at your stuff and I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea. You did so clever. I'm just not really good at it. I'm fine at coming up with the concepts and stuff. I don't know. I probably overthink it, but I do find your stuff really inspiring. So thank you for that.
No, thanks. Yeah, I just so like on my notes app on my phone, every time I get an idea, I just write it in there, whether it's a real idea or a photography idea or anything. So it's like full of things. So whenever I've got like a bit of downtime and I'm like, oh, I should make a reel, I'll scroll through my ideas and yeah.
Oh, that's so clever to do that. We're looking at the one that you did, the image overlay, which is, I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's so clever that she did that. She showed it on the back of her camera, how you do image 1 and image 2, and then you showed the final images. Like, just super clever. And like, you're teaching in the process, which I love to do as well. Like, that's what this whole Twitch community is about, is like sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
And you're doing that in these like little short bites, which is just, it's genius. I love it. So clever.
Yeah, thank you.
Clever.
Yeah, people love it. People always like, I love that you share all these tips, and like, I love to help people and help people grow. So.
That's it. And yourself, you were self-taught. Do you have people that were kind of helping you at the start? Did you have a mentor, or was it just like kind of meddling your way through and just stuffing up a lot of times and trial by error, as I like to call it?
Yeah, I mean, I did have back to Flickr with the Per Photography group, there was a lot of they did like photo walks and meetings and stuff like that, so that was good. But I feel like a lot of it, definitely like 95% of it, was self-taught. When I get obsessed with something, I just go into this like little world, and because I did the same with like learning how to do websites. I just went into this world of coding and became obsessed with it. So the same with photography. I want to know like everything. Like, I don't want to just.
That's
I'm not
so
just having.
Interesting. Do you have ADD by any chance, or ADHD?
My sister thinks I do, because she's just been diagnosed, and she's like, I think you do.
Yeah, because my friend's got a form of ADHD that has this hyper focus, which means you can focus on one thing. Because I remember we basically diagnosed him on tour last year, but because I was convinced he had it, we looked it up, and I was like, you've got this hyper focus one. You just lock into something, become an absolute expert at it.
Yeah,
it's like really handy.
That's what I did.
I love that though. That's so it's quite common for creatives as well to have ADHD and then have that kind of hyper focus thing, which it's one of those things. Is like you know, I have anxiety as well, but my anxiety is like the way that it presents is really high functioning, like doing stuff, like really productive. Like that's how I cope. So it's like, yes, I have anxiety, but it's, you know how some people's anxiety is really like they can't do anything. Mine's the opposite. I have to be like hyper productive. Otherwise I can't function. So it's like you using the things that might be a disadvantage to your advantage. So it's kind of, and I like to talk about it as well, you know, to say, you know, I go through this stuff as well. I just put it all into doing crazy things like Twitch streams. I want to talk to you about the fact that you are a mum and juggling all of like your career and all these things, because there's also people that listen that can be a really tricky juggle, you know, like family life, kids, trying to have a career. How do you find that struggle? Sorry, dogs. How do you find that?
Oh my gosh. Nobody ever told me that kids get harder the older they get. Honestly, like I thought babies and toddlers were hard, but the older they get, I've got a teenager now and like what do you call it, preteen, and then my two. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know how I do it. You know, we try to do routine. It's really hard though. That there's 4 boys and 2 are being diagnosed for ADHD as well, and it's just a lot of noise, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and a lot of eating.
Yes. Oh my God. People don't warn you like how much boys eat. They eat so much food because they just have so much like energy.
You cook a big meal and they eat it all, and then like you go to sit down to relax, and they're like, "Mum, I'm hungry." What?
Oh my God. And I mean, I've seen, you know, and it might be different now that they're getting a bit older, but they were often, you know, happy to help you out with shoots and be really involved in that process. Is that changing as they get older? Are they getting a little bit more resistant to it?
My oldest, Sebastian, he's always loved the camera, like, because he's had it in his face since he was a baby. And he loves the camera, so he loves to model for me, and he comes up with ideas with me as well. He's like, oh, like, I don't know if you remember the photo I did with the octopus tentacles. That was his idea. He was like, let's do this. So like he comes up with his ideas and we do that. Whereas my middle 2 don't really like being in front of the camera. They're like, don't take a photo of me. No, I don't want to do it. Or they'll just frown or, you know, look away. But then one of the middle 2, he actually loves to take photos himself. He loves to, any chance he can get, to grab my camera. I actually let him play with my D300 a lot. And he loves to take photos. He's 6 now and he's been playing with the camera since he was 4, I think.
Oh my God, little protege.
Yeah. And they're all quite creative kids. They all take after me.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's full on juggling. And I'm a single mum as well, so it's full on juggling the kids and my business. And...
You are a superwoman is what you are. Superwoman. I just, honestly, I don't know how you do it, and it's like just so much props to you for being able to, you know, obviously manage a really successful business and all those children and doing such a great job. I love seeing the photos when, I think it's your oldest. He's in a lot of your photos, and it's really cool to see that he gets involved in that stuff. It's so cool. Yeah. I love it. It's really awesome. What do you think what are you most proud of? What's your favorite either campaign that you've done or something that you've shot that really kind of makes you smile?
Oh my gosh. The recent one that I did with Refinery 29 and Getty Images, I'm pretty proud of that because it was like, it wasn't an easy shoot, I'm not gonna lie, but the results, that we're putting more diversity out there for women and women of color in stock imagery, and just changing that narrative, you know, like instead of going onto Getty Images and typing I don't know, woman eating lunch, and instead of it just showing all white women, blonde hair, you know, I was helping to change that narrative, that now that there's Indigenous women up there on Getty Images.
I love that so much. How did that come about? Is that something that they approached you? Did you pitch that to them as an idea?
No, they actually approached me, and
so
yeah, it was pretty full on, but incredible. Yeah.
What an absolute honour as well to be chosen to be that person, and to be able to, you know, photograph so many diverse women. And I guess because you would have felt this growing up. I mean, I felt this growing up, and because I come from an ethnic background, but you just never saw your face in advertising. And I definitely would feel this for Aboriginal people, that it was so rare when we were growing up to see just diverse faces used for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Like growing up, you know, there was Girlfriend and Dolly magazine, and there was never anyone like me on the cover, anything like that. There was never that representation. I went to, when I was in Perth with my kids, I took them to like some big toy shop. I don't know what it was called. It wasn't Toys R Us, it was something else. Because we don't have that here. We've only got Kmart here. So we went into this big toy shop, and I just, like, you know, out of curiosity, I thought, I'm gonna go look down the Barbie aisle. And I was blown away to see that, like, Barbie has like plus size Barbie and black Barbie and you know, just all these diverse.
Diversified.
I know, and I was just like, wow, that makes me pretty happy, like, because I didn't have that as a kid. And it's so now that in mainstream media, like on magazine covers or on TV ads or billboards, whatever, that there are those minority groups being represented now. It's pretty awesome now.
It really is. It really goes to show just some how that advocacy can really change stuff, because I remember you would see a girl just with like dark hair, and you'd be like, oh, that's the closest that it comes to representation, was like a brunette. You're like, oh yeah, I kind of look like that brunette girl that's still white but doesn't look anything like me. But it was like the closest that you'd kind of latch onto that model or whatever. It's so good that, and it initially it was kind of like, oh, is this just performative? Are they, you know, are companies just doing this to kind of appease? But it really feels like now it's a movement. Like, it feels like, okay, it's no longer performative. It's just a thing that people do. Like, it's become part of the psychology when casting. Like, casting for what Australia really looks like versus just one little tiny aspect of what Australia looks like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are still, you know, brands and whatever out there that it is performative and
for sure,
kind of tokenistic. But it's really great to see that the majority of brands are actually really, you know, going with this movement and not just doing it for, you know, clout or whatever to show.
Yeah, or just one campaign or something.
Yeah, one campaign. There's like people actually really moving forward, and I think it's wonderful. Yes.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, we'll use an Aboriginal model, it's NAIDOC week or something. It's like they'll do it, but you can see it consistently through their campaigns, which is great. The other thing that I really wanted to talk to you about, one of my original mentors is an Aboriginal photographer, Wayne Quillen. I don't know if you know Wayne.
Yes.
Yeah, so Wayne's a very dear friend of mine. He shot my wedding. He's an original mentor of mine, very, very close friend. But something that he always said to me, which really stuck with me, was that, you know, he's been shooting Aboriginal faces for like 40 years now. And he always said to me, like, I get requests from people to, you know, to show like the negative side, like the stereotypical negative side of Aboriginal culture. And he's like, I've always refused to do that. I said his work has always been about showing what he feels like Aboriginal culture is, which is, the vibrance, the color, the humor, the love, the family, all of that sort of stuff. And I really feel like I see that in your work. Is that like a conscious thing as well? And do people ever approach you to take those stereotypical negative stuff that you sometimes see in the media, or is it you kind of, you know, this is what you do and you kind of stick to doing this really beautiful work?
Yeah, I think that's definitely because, you know, when I first started my, so like I always had my business doing newborns and maternity, but when I first started to sort of really highlight my culture, and I started this project called the Mayali Project, and I was just photographing Aboriginal mothers and babies, and my main focus was just to really, really show how beautiful and resilient our culture is, and you know, the rich history and our connection to land. And I didn't want to show any sort of stereotype or negative or anything like that. It was just focusing on what was beautiful. And then my project eventually merged into the Birthing on Country sort of project, because excuse me, I'm really, really passionate about birthing on country. And and like birthing on country comes with so many horrible, sad statistics of what, you know, we as Indigenous women as mothers face and have to go through for birth and that. But I didn't want to photograph that horrible, sad side of it. I wanted to show the beautiful, what it should be or how it was back then, rather than showing, you know, this is what happens now and this is heartbreaking. I'm showing this is how it should be, and this is how resilient we are. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. Oh gosh, I just got like pins and needles. I just got just like goosebumps, because look, the reason that I've kind of like got a pregnancy phobia essentially. My dad's mother died in childbirth, giving birth to my father, and it was, you know, in the village in Sicily, and you know, it was however 70 years ago, and there was always this real negative vibe around pregnancy and birth because of what happened. And it's I mean, I believe now it's like intergenerational trauma, because I can feel it when I talk about it. Like I can literally feel it in my body. So it's just, this is so beautiful to see you celebrating this, like, and I think that's why I'm really drawn to your work, because it really does show it in a way that I wasn't shown and not wasn't represented to me. It's so beautiful, and you can just feel, I don't know, there's just so much warmth and love, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it really comes out in your work, especially with this the project that you did with, you know, the Birthing on Country stuff. It's really gorgeous. So thank you for doing that as well, because it's like it's such a negative thought in my brain, or in my DNA about what pregnancy and childbirth is. You know, there's a trauma there essentially.
Yeah, and that can be very hard to deal with and unpack. I have my own traumas and intergenerational trauma, and it's all very, it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's fine. Like for me, I don't have children. I'm not going to have children, and that's kind of how I'm dealing with it, which is probably not the best way, but it's fine. But it's I just love seeing your work. It's just such a beautiful celebration of all of that and motherhood, and it's just so beautiful. What up, Matt? Nice to see you here. But yeah, so it's really gorgeous to see, and it's just so beautifully tied into your culture, and such positive representation is what I'm trying to say. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, positive representation. Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to talk to you. We've got a few more minutes. If you've got any questions in chat as well, please let me know. I can read them out for Bobbi as well. I'd love to know what's coming up for you. You haven't been in this crazy like lockdown that we've been in, so you're probably getting like lots of bookings, and you know, really you can plan stuff. I don't feel like we can plan anything at the moment, which is annoying. But do you have anything exciting coming up that you can tell us about, or any projects that you've started in recent times?
I've got at the end of this month, I've got some of my designs in collaboration with Deadly Denim going to Paris Fashion Week. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that. So Deadly Denim Rebecca from Deadly Denim, it's a sustainable label. It's about reusing denim. And
I'm showing a photo from your Instagram at the moment because I actually love, every time I've seen you post photos of anything to do with Deadly Denim, I just love it. It's so cool. It's really
I love
cool.
her stuff. And so Beck is studying to become a midwife, and she's also very passionate about birthing on country, and that's sort of how we connected, because she messaged my page a couple of years ago, and so we've done this collaboration, and she uses other artists' artwork and prints it on fabric and then sews it into the denim. So she asked me, do you want to collaborate for Paris Fashion Week? And I was like, oh my God, yes I do.
Oh my God.
So we had to create 8 pieces, and so we've done 4 each. And so she's done 4 with her denim and my fabric designs, and then I've done 4 with my fabric designs, which I've had made into, I sketched out what I wanted and I've got them made into that. So I've got like a jumpsuit and a dress, and I'm really, really excited and really nervous about it.
God. And when is that happening? When are you guys going?
It's either the 29th or the 30th of September. I can't remember exactly because of the time zone difference.
Yep.
But yeah, super exciting to just I just can't even to see my designs. It's my art, it's my actual fashion design, it's everything on these models walking down the runway in Paris. It's going to be incredible.
Do you feel like it's a bit of it, it feels like full circle from when those moments when you're a little girl and you were you didn't know if you were going to be, you knew you were creative, but you were putting dresses on your sister or whatever. It's like those kind of fashion designer moments of are coming to fruition.
Yes, it's so weird because I always as a kid used to draw little dresses and say I wanted to be a fashion designer, and then my journey took me down graphic design and then photography, and now I've come full circle back to fashion design, and I'm actually hoping to launch my label next year.
I was going to ask you, are you actually going to get into design? It feels like a natural progression for you.
Yeah, I never ever thought I could do it. And it's just crazy. And now that's my goal for next year. I mean, I don't know if I will get it done, but that's my goal, is to launch my label.
You're Superwoman. What are you talking about? Of course you will.
But so I'm really excited about that.
That's so cool. That is honestly just, Ash has said 1,000% you'll get it. She agrees. We're backing you. The community's backing you here. Absolutely. And do you think you'll have a preference at some point? Do you think one thing will take over? Do you have a desire to be doing one, I just want to be a fashion designer, or do you think that photography will always be there for you?
So I'm a Libra, so Libras can never choose. And I've always been like that. That's why I have 2 businesses. I have my design business, graphic design and art and all that, and photography business. And they do crossover, and I do, and people always say, can you choose one or the other? I literally can't. I love to do my design stuff. I love it. I can get lost in my art and whatever, but also I adore photography. I could never give photography up.
Yeah. I mean, all of these things just go hand in hand anyway. It's you don't really need to give one up when they all lend themselves so heavily. I wish I had more of a design background, because it's such a skill that works so nicely with photography, to have that sensibility.
Yeah,
so
they really are.
It's just a bonus.
Yeah. I used to, in the early days, I used to keep it really separate. I had an art page, that was my art, and then I had my photography page. And so they were really, really separate. But now I'm just why can't I do them together? They cross over time, and
they do.
So now I just do it together, and it's pretty cool, because then I get people coming to me for one or the other or both, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and even with your design stuff, if you're doing all these designs, you can shoot your own, your whole label when it comes out. You can do all of that stuff as well. You can do all your marketing release.
Yeah, I know, right?
All the skills to do it all. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what Rebecca says to me. Rebecca from Deadly Denim. She's like, you're going to kill it when you do your label, because you can do all your photos, your website, your design.
Yes, the website. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're looking at the photo. I love this photo so much, of your oldest son with the change the date, all the writing over his face, and no pride in genocide. I just love that photo so much. I just feel like it is it's so moving. It's so powerful. It's just such a beautiful statement. I don't know if you've got that printed really big, but it looks like something you should have that massive somewhere. It's such a gorgeous print.
That one was actually at the Beijing exhibition just last week. They've got that printed.
Wow. Oh, yeah, amazing. Well, somebody needs to have a pig, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Love that. Okay, well, if there's any last questions, we'll wrap it up really soon. It's been so lovely to chat to you. Do you after trialing out the little ZFC, did you end up getting one? Because I bought one not long after my little trial with that little camera. I love it so much.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah, they sent me out to trial it, and then basically when I got home, I was like, you need to put me down for one of those because I need one immediately. And I bought one.
What colour did you get?
I got the brown. I got the vintage brown looking one.
I love them all.
I couldn't decide. It was so hard. Would you get the pink one? Because I just feel like it's so on brand for you.
Yeah, I love the pink because I love pink obviously, but also the mint.
The mint one is great. Yeah, all the colours are so great. And
please.
Yeah, well, you can. I didn't know that you can get the colour bit. You can just change them. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Erica told. Yeah, well, I'm doing I'm hosting a session which is talking about the ZFC next week, and we were talking with the girls about which colours, and then Erica from Nikon said, oh yeah, you can get just the out bits of it and you can change the colour. And I was like, oh my god, I feel good about that. I can get another colour. That's awesome. What up, Soy? Nice to see you. Ash said thank you so much for sharing your journey. So great to see a multidisciplinary creator. Ash is also an amazing designer and photographer as well. So she would have felt a lot of relief in knowing she doesn't need to pick. She can do both. It's totally fine.
I love it. Love it.
All right, we'll let you go. I've got to go. I'm actually shooting today, so I'm really excited. I have to go. I have to literally, as soon as I finish this stream, I have to go and shoot.
What are you shooting?
Actually, I don't think I'm allowed to say. I think it's actually a little bit secret.
Okay.
Everything in this time is like, you can't say it until it's like out and stuff like that. I wish I could because it's pretty exciting. What up, Taylor? Nice to see you here as well. It's sad I could only just join, have to watch back. We'll pop up the VOD as soon as this finishes, so and I'll put it in my Discord as well so everyone can watch. Everyone can watch how this amazing chat went. It was really great. Anyway, Bobbi, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. And we'll definitely talk to you really soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right, everybody. Catch you later.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Connected like I knew people. Director of photography. I shoot.